For more on this, we are now joined by Chad Thomas, a crime analyst and IRS forensic investigation CEO. He joins us now via our video link. Mr. Thomas, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. Major developments are coming in from late yesterday evening, that pertaining to Wiandre Pretorius. I mean, what do you make of this latest development, particularly at a time where more questions are being raised when it comes to those who may know something about Mbhense's killing?
Very good evening to you and to the viewers, and thank you for inviting me onto the show. Look, in brief, Marius van der Merwe, aka Witness D, is killed after detailing the murder and cover-up of Mbhense's death at the hands of rogue cops, members of EMPD, and security officers. Marius names Wiandre Pretorius as complicit in this and says he's a very dangerous person. Shortly thereafter, of course, we have Marius van der Merwe taken out. This week, IPID releases a report into the murder of Mbhense, which took place in 2022. It's obviously now been expedited because of Madlanga and the intervention of the executive. And in the same week that it's released, there's this attempted hit on Wiandre. And I say attempted hit in air quotes. And then, of course, last night, Wiandre committed suicide. It's a very interesting turn of events. It's a very sordid affair, especially when you hear that 4 out of 12 suspects are now dead. And one has to wonder just how deep the rot goes within the police service, as well as within EMPD, as well as within the so-called bad actors from the security industry.
And what do you make of the very pertinent questions that police are now asking, whether it seems as if there is a syndicate of some sort? We do know that so far, as we heard there from the police, and they are saying that 3 people at least have died assassination style. We also then this week saw that issue around Wiandre and that attempt to hit on his life. What do you make of these very serious questions that the police are asking, particularly linking Mbhense's death?
I'll tell you what I found interesting was the Marius van der Merwe aspect. When he got taken out, my initial thoughts was that it may not have anything to do with the Madlanga Commission. A lot of people were unaware of the fact that prior to testifying at Madlanga, there'd been an attempt on Marius' life. He had been involved in the very controversial dismantling of the informal settlement known as Plastic City just outside Brakpan. He was also involved in the factionalism and the fighting between 2 warring Zama groups made up on the one hand of Basotho and on the other hand of Zulus. So he himself had involved himself in a lot of controversial, nefarious activity. So I wasn't 100% convinced that his murder had anything to do with Madlanga. Obviously, this takes a whole different direction. One hears in his testimony that he said Wiandre was a very dangerous person, and now the police have revealed in today's presser that Wiandre was actually a person of interest in the hits of Marius. So it does seem like somebody's cleaning shop. Whether he was part of the shop cleaning and he himself couldn't live with it, I don't know. We can't speculate to his states of mind when he took his life last night. What we do know is that the Madlanga Commission is definitely shaking the tree, and we're seeing a lot of developments coming out of both Madlanga as well as ad hoc.
And when it comes to the Madlanga Commission and some of the witnesses and the persons of interest as well, what does it speak to, particularly when the police keep on saying, well, if you need some sort of the assistance of being kept under wraps, what does that speak to? That it seems as if some witnesses and those who are the persons of the interest for the police seem to being targeted as we speak.
So a lot of people don't want to go into witness protection. Witness protection is completely life-changing, not just for the person themselves, but for their family as a whole. They may be relocated, they may have to take on a new identity, their freedom of movement is restricted. So a lot of people don't want to go into it. A lot of people that are potential witnesses come from the security industry, the policing industry, and the metropolitan policing sector, so they believe they can protect themselves. But there are competent people within the police that have been trained as protectors that can be utilized by Madlanga, can be used by ad hoc, can be used by the MPA, can be used by IDAC. When one thinks that 3.5% of the annual police budget just goes towards VIP protection and security services for so-called VIPs in South Africa, we know there's a glut of trained individuals. We know they have safe housing houses. We know they have vehicles. So people need to be confident that the state does have capacity to protect them, and the same protection that's extended to VIPs should be extended to witnesses, whether it's just taking them from one place to another to testify, whether it's to have static security wherever it is they're staying. If we can do this for a multitude of politicians on a national, provincial, and local level, and we see so much of the police budget being spent on VIP protection, well, I can guarantee you that this should be trickling down to witnesses in such an important process that is the cleaning up of our police service in South Africa.
And before I let you go, Mr. Thomas, and when it comes to the Madlanga Commission and the investigations it is conducting, what does it say in terms of the Madlanga Commission being unable to get through to the rot of where we find ourselves, particularly in the police force, but also seems to be trickling through to other sectors?
They're getting through to everything, and it's a lot worse than what we anticipated coming out of the July 6 presser from General Nkwanazi. So far, everything he said is correct. He said there were bad actors in politics. He said there were bad actors in business. He said there were bad actors in the security industry. He said there were bad actors in metropolitan police departments, and there were bad actors that had infiltrated the leadership of the South African Police Service. We're seeing it. I was very surprised at last week's testimony when we heard how a brigadier spoke, and you could hear about the gratification outright. You could hear how she had been captured. And everything that was said has been proven to be correct, and we're hearing more and more and more. Yes, we have a deficit in the leadership within the police. We didn't know that the rot was this bad, but at least we see processes in place both from the NPA's IDAC as well as from IPID, as well as the specialized unit set up within SAPS by the executive, headed up by the Commissioner Fani Masemola, that are investigating parallel to this process. So unlike Zondo, everything that's coming out of Madlanga is immediately being investigated.
All right, Mr. Thomas, thank you so much for your analysis. That is Chad Thomas. He is a crime analyst and IRS Forensic Investigations CEO. They're talking to us about the latest developments coming out from the death of Wiandre Pretorius.